Commander Alarithe stood in the large window of the Elysieri, embassy on Carrion 4. The moon hung in the sky like a pale pearl. The air was cool and clean here. Far from her home world, she felt a small mix of hope and worry. Today was the day she would meet the humans. Alara was the youngest ambassador from the Elysieri, a proud and logical race. Her people valued calm, thinking, and control over emotions. They believed feelings could make decisions weak. But Alara was different. Even as a child, she had dreams that went beyond logic. She dreamed of the stars and the unknown. Now, her mission was clear. Start peace talks between the Elysieri and humans. Both races had been distant for centuries. This meeting could change everything. A soft beep sounded behind her. Alara turned to see a small device on the wall. A voice spoke. Ambassador Alarithe, your escort from Earth has arrived. Please meet Captain Jace Marlowe in the main hall. Alara nodded and walked down the corridor. She had prepared for many things: diplomacy, protocol, questions. But she was not prepared for the man waiting there. Captain Jace Marlowe stood tall. In his simple but strong Earth uniform, his dark hair was slightly messy, and his eyes were bright with quiet confidence. He smiled politely. Commander Alarithe, it's an honor, he said. Holding out his hand, Alara looked at him for a moment. He seemed so different from what she expected. Not cold or formal, more like ... human. She shook his hand, her own. Grip firm, Captain Marlowe. It's welcome to Carrion 4. Jace smiled again. Thank you, Commander. I am here to protect you during the talks. Ilara's eyes narrowed slightly. She was not used to needing protection. Elysieri were proud warriors, in their own right. But these humans were different, strong and brave in ways she did not fully understand. As they walked together through the embassy halls, Alara noticed the way Jace moved, calm but ready. His eyes scanned their surroundings carefully. She felt a strange sense of safety. Suddenly, the lights flickered. The airlock doors ahead hissed and clicked oddly. A small child's cry echoed from the corridor. Ilara's head snapped toward the sound. What is that? Jace's eyes sharpened. I don't know. Stay behind me. Without hesitation, he ran toward the cry. Ilara followed, heart beating fast. They found a small human child trapped outside a damaged airlock. The door had partially closed with the child's hand stuck between the gap. Help. Please, the child cried. Jace knelt and gently spoke to the child. Hold still. I'm going to help you. Using his training, Jace carefully lifted the child's hand and stopped the door from closing further. Ilara watched his hand steady. Sure, and kind. Together, they pulled the child inside. The child hugged Jace tightly. Elara felt something inside her soften. This was not just a warrior. This was a protector. Thank you, she said quietly. Jace smiled. We look out for each other. That night, Ilara sat in her quarters, thinking about the day. The humans were strange, yes, but also ... surprising. A soft knock came at her. Door commander, may I come in? Jace's voice. She nodded. He entered holding a small holo device. I thought you might want to see something, he said. Ilara watched as he played images of Earth's great cities, forests, oceans, places full of life and color. Your world is beautiful, she said. Jace nodded. And dangerous. But people there fight for their families and dreams. Ilara looked at him. You fight not for power, but for hope. Jace smiled, surprised. She understood. They talked late into the night, sharing stories of their worlds. Ilara told Jace of the Elysieri's ancient laws and the vow to control emotion. Jace shared tales of human courage and kindness, even in darkness, before they parted. Jace said, Commander, I hope we can trust each other. Ilara looked him in the eyes. I believe we must. As Jace left, Ilara felt a quiet hope. This meeting was more than politics. It was the start of something new. The sun barely rose over the horizon of Carrion 4, casting soft blue light across the diplomatic station. Commander Alarithe stood by a large window, watching the strange new world below. The station was alive with activity humans and Elysieri. Moving together in cautious peace, Captain Jace Marlowe joined her quietly. He carried 2 cups of hot tea, a human tradition he had learned was appreciated. Ilara took a cup. "Thank you, Captain," Jace smiled. "It's no problem, Commander. You should take care of yourself." Ilara looked at him. Seen more. Human by the day, warmed by kindness, not just duty. But today was not just about tea and calm moments. Strange energy pulses had started affecting the station. Systems flickered on and off. Security drones acted oddly. The diplomats were nervous. Ilara and Jace had been tasked to investigate the cause. "We need to work together," Ilara said. "This could ruin the talks." Jace nodded. "I'm with you." They moved through the station corridors, the hum of machinery all around. Suddenly, a loud beep sounded. Alert. Energy surge detected in Sector 7. Ilara's heart beat faster. They hurried to the sector there. The lights dimmed, and a strange blue glow shimmered from a damaged power panel. Jace knelt and examined. This is no accident," he said. "Someone tampered with the power system." Ilara frowned. "Sabotage." As they worked to contain the surge, Jace explained how human technology worked. Ilara listened carefully. Despite their differences, she found his explanations clear and honest while fixing the panel. Ilara noticed Jace's calm hands. His movements were steady, careful, like a craftsman. "You are good at this," she said. Jace smiled. "When you have to protect someone, you learn fast." Ilara looked at him differently now, not just a warrior, but a guardian. Over the next days, the energy surges increased. The station's systems grew unstable. The diplomats grew worried. Ilara and Jace spent long hours together, searching for clues. One evening, they sat in the quiet observation room. Stars twinkled outside the window. Ilara broke the silence. "Captain, do you believe in fate?" Jace thought for a moment. "I'm not sure, but I believe some people are meant to find each other. Maybe that's fate." Ilara smiled softly. "Your people have strange ideas. My people have forgotten such things. We trust only logic." Jace looked at her. "Sometimes feelings help us see what logic cannot." Ilara's eyes widened. "Could this be true? You're staying." As they continued their work, Jace began to have strange dreams. In them, he saw Ilara in different places, dancing in a green forest, walking through a shining city, laughing in sunlight. He could feel her voice calling him, even when awake. He told Ilara about the dreams. She was surprised, these visions. They sound like old Elysieri stories. She explained that long ago, Elysieri believed in fated bonds, connections, between souls across time and space. But such beliefs were lost when her people chose logic over emotion. Jace smiled sadly. Maybe those old stories were true. Ilara looked at him with new hope. The next day, the saboteur struck again. The station's main control room lost power. Emergency lights flickered on. Ilara and Jace raced there. They found signs of forced entry. Someone was trying to stop the talks. "We must protect the station," Ilara said firmly. Jace nodded. "And find the one behind this." Together, they worked with the station security to secure the area. But the danger was close. Ilara trusted Jace more each day. He was brave, calm, and kind. She felt a warmth inside that was new. One night, as they reviewed security footage, Ilara paused on a strange figure hiding in the shadows. "Who is that?" she asked. Jace frowned. "I don't know, but they want to keep us apart." Ilara squeezed his hand. "We must not let them win." The diplomatic station hummed softly in the quiet hours before dawn. Commander Ilarithe sat alone in her chambers, her thoughts heavy. The sabotage was growing worse, and the peaceful talk she had hoped for seemed to slip further away, Captain. Jace Marlowe knocked gently and entered, carrying a small datapad. His face was serious but calm. "Ilara," he said, "I found something. Saboteurs using an ancient device, something called the resonance core." Ilara frowned. "Resonance core? What is that?" Jace showed her images on the padan. old, glowing machine covered with strange Elysiary symbols. According to hidden archives, it was a device designed to disrupt emotional and mental balance. It could make people confused, angry, or weak. That explains the energy surges and the strange behavior of the security systems, Ilara said quietly. But why would someone use this now? Jace looked at her. Someone wants to break the peace talks and stop the Human Elysiary Alliance. Ilara nodded. We must find it and stop whoever controls it. Together, they studied the station's schematics, tracing the energy signatures to a forgotten storage area deep underground. The corridors were dark and narrow, filled with old Elysiary relics. Jace led the way, his hand resting lightly on his sidearm, not for attack, but readiness. Ilara felt a strange comfort having him close. They reached the hidden chamber. Inside, the resonance core pulsed with a soft blue light, humming like a living thing. Suddenly, a shadow moved. Ambassador Vieric stepped from the darkness, his eyes cold and filled with anger. You are too late, Alarathe, he said. This alliance will fail. The Elysiary will never bow to humans. Ilara stood tall. Vieric, this ends now. Vieric laughed. You're weak to trust humans. They will betray us. Jace stepped forward. No one will betray peace today. Vieric raised a hand, and the resonance core glowed brighter. A wave of blue energy swept over the room. Ilara felt her mind grow heavy. Her thoughts blurred, and her limbs trembled. She stumbled and collapsed. Jace rushed to her side, grabbing her hand. The moment their skin touched, a golden thread of light sparked between them. The blue energy around them flickered and faded. Ilara's eyes opened slowly. She looked at Jace, wonder in her gaze. What just happened? She whispered. Jake helped her stand. I don't know exactly, but something about our bond stopped the core. Ilira's heart raced. She had heard stories of fated bonds, connections between two souls that could share strength and protect each other. Could this be it? Vieric glared, but saw his power fade. No, you cannot defeat me with old legends. Ilara raised her voice. This is not legend. This is truth. She stepped closer to Jace, their hands still linked. Warmth spread through her body, a feeling she had tried to hide for years. Jace, she said, you are my fated bond. We are connected beyond reason and time. Jace nodded, his eyes bright. I feel it too. Yeah. Vieric snarled and fled into the shadows, defeated for now. Later, Ilara. And Jace sat in a quiet room, the resonance core sealed away. Ilara spoke softly. My people gave up these bonds long ago. They feared they made us weak. Jace smiled gently. Sometimes what feels like weakness is actually our greatest strength. Lara reached out and touched his face. I trusted you from the start. Now I know why. Jace smiled, taking her hand. We have a chance to change everything. Not just for us, but for both our peoples. Ilara nodded, hope filling her heart. Together, they would face whatever came next. The halls of the Elysiary diplomatic station felt colder than usual. Even as the soft blue light of Carrion 4 bathed the walls, Commander Alarathe walked slowly, her mind heavy with thoughts. The truth about her bond with Captain Jace Marlowe was out, but acceptance was far from easy. Her advisors had gathered in the council chamber. Her faces were stern, worry, and anger mixed in their eyes. You must end this connection, said Elder Thalon, his voice sharp. This bond is a distraction. It threatens the honor of the Elysiary people. Ilara stood firm. I cannot reject what is true. This bond has saved me, and it may save our future. The council murmured. They had been taught for generations that emotion and personal ties were weaknesses. To choose the bond meant going against everything Elysiary believed. Outside the council chamber, Jace waited patiently. When Ilara joined him, she saw the concern in his eyes. Are you sure you want to do this? He asked gently. Ilara nodded. I must, not just for me, but for all our people. Jace smiled softly. Then I will stand with you. That evening, the station's great hall was filled with delegates from many worlds. The tension was thick. Ilara stepped forward to speak. "My people have forgotten the power of trust and connection," she began. "But today, I stand before you with a truth we cannot deny." She looked at Jace, who stood by her side, steady and strong. "We are bonded by fate. This connection is more than legend. It is a sign that we can build a new future together." The room was silent. Many eyes were wide with surprise. Some frowned in disbelief. Then slowly, a few voices began to applaud. Ambassador Viewership watched from the shadows, his anger burning. "This alliance will fail," he hissed. "They are weak." But Ilara and Jace stood unshaken. After the speech, Ilara and Jace worked tirelessly. They helped repair the damage caused by Viewership's sabotage. They opened new dialogues between Elysiari and humans, focusing on trust and shared goals. Their bond grew stronger each day. Ilara found herself smiling more, feeling emotions she had long denied. Jace taught her about human dreams and hopes. She shared her memories and fears. One night, under the stars, Ilara confessed, "I was trained never to trust feelings, but I trusted you," Jace took her hand. "And I will always protect that trust." The station's system stabilized. The threat of sabotage lessened, but caution remained. Viewership's influence was not gone, only hidden. Ilara and Jace knew their journey was just beginning. Together they would face new challenges, not as strangers, but as partners bonded by fate and choice. The morning sun of Carrion 4 shone softly through the embassy windows. Commander Ilarathe stood beside Captain Jace Marlowe, both looking out over the bustling station below. The air was filled with hope, but also the quiet weight of the choices they had made. The days since Ilara's speech had been full of change. The Elysiari Council, though slow to accept, began to open their minds. Many of the older members still resisted, but the younger generation grew curious about the fated bonds Ilara and Jace represented. Ilara's role as ambassador had changed. She no longer fit the cold, strict image her people expected. Instead, she was offered a new position, cultural bridge. Officer role to help humans and Elysiari understand and work with each other. Jace stood proudly beside her. He had been invited to join this new mission, representing Earth in ways he had never imagined. One afternoon, in the embassy garden, Lara and Jace sat beneath a tree blooming with pale blue flowers. The gentle breeze carried the scent of fresh blossoms. "Ilara," Jace said softly, "do you ever regret the choice you made?" Ilara shook her head. "No, choosing this bond, choosing you. It was the hardest thing, but also the most right." Jace smiled, taking her hand. "Was raised to be a warrior, to fight battles, but this is the greatest journey." Their fingers intertwined, and for a moment, nothing else mattered. News came that Ambassador Viewership had been exiled. Plans had been uncovered, and the Elysiari government moved swiftly to remove his influence. The sabotage was finally over. The station's systems ran smoothly again. Peace talks resumed with new energy and respect. Ilara and Jace led delegations, sharing stories of unity and hope. Their bond became a symbol not just for humans and Elysiari, but for many species watching across the stars. One evening, during a ceremony to celebrate the new alliance, Ilara was approached by a wise elder. "You have done what many thought impossible," the elder said. "You brought back an ancient truth, the power of trust and connection. Your bond is a light for us all." Ilara bowed respectfully. "Thank you. I believe it is just the beginning." Months passed. Ilara and Jace worked side by side, helping their peoples explore new ways of living together. The Elysiari began to study emotion and choice again, while humans learned the value of calm thought and discipline. Together, they discovered strength, not just in power, but in understanding. In a quiet moment, looking at the twin moons rising over Carrion 4, Ilara turned to Jace. "Do you remember the first day we met?" Jace laughed softly. "I thought you were too proud to even look at me." Ilara smiled. I thought you were too careless for a warrior." Jace squeezed her hand. We were both wrong. They looked up at the sky, feeling the bond between them stronger than ever. Their story became legend, a story told across worlds about a human warrior and an Elysiary ambassador who dared to trust and love. The future was unknown, but they faced it together, bonded by fate and choice. And so, a new chapter began, not just for them, but for all who dreamed of peace.